this week we have one of my favorite segments. This is one of my favorite things that we do all year, Jewel. I love Baseball Santa. I look forward to it all year long.
I'm
Although I will
excited
say
to be
this,
doing it with you.
I don't prepare all year long. I just look forward to doing it. I
Okay.
don't prepare.
I did not. I prepared this last night at about 1 in the morning
Very good. I look
after
forward
I
to it
was done
because I
writing
know
some
that
other content.
I look forward to it because I know that a lot of things I do at 1 in the morning, not good content, but I'm sure it'll be great content, Jewel. I'm looking forward to
Wow, you don't want to know how many of my blog pieces have been written at 1 a.m.
it. That's awesome. I
That
There's a
makes me
certain
feel
point.
great.
So like real quick. So I worked overnights throwing freight for a grocery store when I was an intern for the Orem Owls, the Angels rookie league team.
Oh no, wait. When I
And
first started the blog, I worked at Walmart as an overnight assistant manager.
there you go. So yeah, you know how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this story is going to be relatable. So I was getting ready to start a podcast because I was in college and I was getting ready to start a podcast for the sports section for the student newspaper, and so I spent a lot of nights thinking about what I wanted to do. I basically storyboarded the entire season, how I wanted to do it all, and I would
Hmm.
come up with ideas. And it's usually about 2 o'clock in the morning when I was starting to get tired, and I would come up with
Yep.
ideas, and then the next morning on my way home to kind of keep myself awake, I'd hash out those ideas that I came up with the night before, and I could always tell when I came up with an idea at 2 o'clock in the morning because it was terrible, just a horrible idea. And so I'd start calling those 2 a.m. ideas. And then I've recently changed those to Costanzas just because George Costanza never has a good idea. Right.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so
It's like the famous
yeah,
saying from How I Met Your Mother: "Nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m."
exactly. That's exactly right. That's right. So 2 a.m. ideas. And that's why I say that is that as I've gotten older, it's gotten to be closer to 1 and midnight. But anyway, all right. So Jewel, do you want to lead us off with your first wish list item for Baseball Santa?
Okay, these are in no particular order for mine. They're just the
Okay.
order that they came to me in. My
Okay.
first wish list item for Baseball Santa is the Seattle Mariners land either land either Chris Bryant or Seiya Suzuki, preferably
Ooh.
Seiya Suzuki, so that we can keep the legacy of Suzuki's in Seattle strong.
Very good. I like that. And I would actually like to see either one of those guys, if not both of them, come to Seattle. Seiya Suzuki, I am like pumped for that guy. And I saw something yesterday that said that the Mariners have entered the sweepstakes for Seiya Suzuki. I'm like, dude, where have you been?
Right?
Like, been in this thing the entire time. For anybody to
I,
say that they're just now showing interest in him
no,
has
he's
not
been
been
there
paying
the whole time.
attention.
No, and
Yeah.
obviously, you know, we talked about this last week, just how much Japanese players have a connection with Seattle and how much like
Hmm.
I mean because there's an ownership stake in Nintendo, there's just the culture, the West Coast, just like it just
Geographically.
geographically it all makes sense. Like it
Hmm.
all just makes
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a great. I think it would be a great situation for him, and I think that's part of the reason Otani was looking at Seattle too, and why Kikuchi came.
yeah, it was Otani's second choice. I'm pretty sure Tanaka it was a top three. I'm pretty sure that obviously Kikuchi, Iwakuma, um,
Iwakuma, yeah, had
Hasan
Kenji Jojima as well.
Kenji Jojima, Kazuhiro Sasaki,
Yes, Kaz. Oh my gosh, I
Ichiro.
forget about him somehow.
Like, there's just been so many great players come to Seattle from Japan. Like, it's been a place where so many of them have thrived and had great careers.
Hmm.
Iwakuma was a top three in the Cy Young. Kikuchi, it clicked at moments. I just think that,
We saw flashes. We saw the first half of the 2021 season. We were like, yes, he's here, and then he went back to the 5-man rotation, and it was just too much for him.
yeah, I just think
But
the talent's there. It just hasn't been able to been put together.
yeah,
And maybe the fit
yeah, I
just
would like to
wasn't
see him
there.
do well somewhere else, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a perfect fit for him. I'd love to see
Yeah.
him come to Seattle. It'd be awesome.
All right. What, Brad? What
Okay.
are you asking Baseball Santa for first?
Okay. As you said, in no particular order, the first thing that I'm going to put on my list for Baseball Santa is I just want a new CBA, Jewel. I just want a new CBA. I don't care what's
Yeah.
in it. I don't care what isn't in it. I just want it to get done. Just get it done so there can be baseball. Because, like I said earlier, I'm a little more optimistic now than what I was even a week ago, right? And so I feel like there's going to be a deal done, but that's just top of my list. Baseball Santa, please bring a new CBA.
That's
That's
all
all
we
I ask
need.
for.
All right. After that, what are you asking for?
The next thing on my list from Baseball Santa,
I love
I
that
want.
graphic.
That's one of the most proud things that I've ever made. That like of all my projects I've ever done in my life, I'm most proud of Baseball Santa graphic.
It's
For those of you
dope.
not watching on YouTube, there's a fun graphic. Anyway, I want a healthy meniscus for Kyle Lewis
Ooh, yeah.
because that knee injury has been ugly and lingering
How
since.
about just two
Mm,
healthy knees for Kyle Lewis?
oh man, I don't even like. I just want the meniscus because we saw what a bad meniscus can do to a guy with Brandon Roy with the Blazers,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I worry about that with Kyle Lewis. I know that it's not the same amount of punishment uh,
Yeah.
for a baseball player, especially for a guy who the DH is an option for, because he'd be a great DH. He would
He
be
would
an
be
absolutely outstanding
amazing DH.
DH.
He would be
But I
fantastic.
also want him in the outfield because he's a really good center fielder.
Yeah, no, he's
Like
a great center fielder.
a
But
really good center fielder.
so
And
is
if he's got
Seiya
a healthy
Suzuki.
meniscus, if he's got a healthy meniscus, um, we've got 10 more years of an outstanding center fielder who can field and hit.
And you know who
So
else is a really good center fielder? Jared Kellenick. Can
he's
also
not
play a
as good
mean.
though. I don't feel like he's as good though.
He can play a mean center field though.
I would rather have him. I'd
He's
rather have
got
him in a
range.
corner though.
No,
But
true.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Give him an entire offseason of getting used to center field, an entire spring training getting used to center field. I think he could be better than what he was last year.
I
I think
think he
you
would be
have
better
something
at
there.
center than he does in left.
You
I
think
think he's
so?
out of position in left. He's out of position. His natural position is center.
What is that?
College, he was a center fielder. In Mets, he was with the Mets. He was a center fielder.
Yeah.
He's always been a center fielder. And then we moved him
Well,
to
it's
left, and
funny
I think
because
that's been part of it.
I always thought he was so short. That's why I saw him as a left fielder. Like the dude's 6'3".
Dude's huge.
He's enormous.
He's
He
a big
just
guy.
looks short. I think it's because he's so stocky. But
He's so
yeah, no, he can
stocky.
fly. He's got the range. I was just always worried about him like seeing the ball off the bat at the big league level, and that was the issue that I had with him last year. But
And Kyle Lewis is
anywho,
6'4".
yes, and he chokes up on his bat. I don't understand that.
Because he's
I
long
don't know
arms.
why
He's
the
got to shorten
dude.
it up a little bit.
I don't know why that dude chokes up on his bat because he's losing leverage on it. But
Yeah. And
anyway,
Kellenck's only
all right,
6'1".
Joel. Oh, is he 6'1"? Either way,
Six one.
he's decently big. He's really stocky, and that's why I always felt like he was like 5'10". I always felt like he was
Makes
my
sense.
height until I looked it up. But anyway, all right, Joel, what do you have next
All
for
right.
Baseball
My next
Santa?
wish for Baseball Santa is that Baseball Santa brings the Seattle Mariners a 2022 playoff spot, going into their All-Star hosting 2023 season, which then leads them to the 2023 World Series
Boom, and a title.
and a title.
I've been saying it, Joel. I've been saying it. The Mariners in 2023, they're going to win it all. I don't even think
They
it's going
have
to take
to.
Baseball Santa for them to win it, but I think it
No.
helps. It certainly helps.
Baseball Santa might need to help them in 2022 make the playoffs so that they can get there at least.
Maybe, yeah. Just get in the door. Just get your foot in the door. I'm a firm believer of just
Exactly.
getting your foot in the door in the playoffs,
Once they
especially
get
with the
there,
wild card. Like, just got to get there and make the appearance, and got to get that monkey off their back too. That's another thing. Is like I understand it's not the player, like the current players, it's not their drought, right? Mitch Haniger talked about that. Like it's not our drought, but we own the team, so we still own the drought,
yeah, exactly.
right?
And I think having a guy
But
like Robbie Ray, if they get into that wild card spot, tight
yeah,
pants and all.
he's got his tight pants on.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So my third
Excellent.
wish for Baseball
Okay, go
Santa.
ahead. Let's
Now
do your third one, then we'll take a break.
you guys are gonna be a little bit surprised. You might be surprised. I want Baseball Santa, and this is kind of another 2023 wish. I want
Okay.
Baseball Santa to have these three teams win their divisions: the Mariners, the Tigers, and the Orioles
Oh,
in 2023 win at their respective divisions. They each have bucos amounts of young talent, mixed in with some veteran talent. Obviously, the Orioles are a little far off, but we've
mhm.
seen how quick a couple guys, a couple calls, you know, guys like a
Yeah.
Cedric Mullins
The
can
problem is
quickly
that
develop.
I think I read a couple weeks ago that the Orioles were already shopping Cedric Mullins.
Oh yeah, they're shopping Cedric Mullins and John Means.
Like, what are you doing? That's the only thing that I don't. That's like the only reason I don't see them winning their division ever is because they have these top tier guys and they're already like, yeah, let's get rid of them, get
Yeah,
more farmhands. Like, no, you don't need more guys. You don't need more prospects. You have your guys
they
to
were one
build
of the
around.
teams in last year in spring training. They had like one of the highest amount of players in camp. Them, the Royals, and I think the Tigers were like three of the teams that had like no joke like 60, 70 dudes in camp. Like it was insane how many guys they had.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we have a few more things for Baseball Santa to put on our lists. Welcome back, baseball family. We are doing our wish lists for Baseball Santa. Jewell has shared 3 items off of his list. I have shared 2. I have 3 more items. Do you have 2 more, Jewell?
Two more, two more.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we really talked about how many we had. So I think we had mentioned 5, but I don't think we set hard on 5. So here we go.
I don't think we
All right,
did.
I have something here for Baseball Santa. This is a little bit against the grain. I'm going to be honest with you, Jewell. I want the Yankees
Huh?
to sign Carlos Correa for 13 years, $425 million. So badly. This is the deal that I want for Carlos Correa. You know why, Jewell?
I don't. Please,
Because it
please tell me.
handcuffs the Yankees to Carlos Correa for almost a decade and a half. It pays him a whole lot of money, so they are right at that luxury threshold every single year.
So
So they can
what's
pay
the
for
deal
guys
again? You said 425
425 over
over
13. So
13,
give him
30,
almost the Mike Trout deal.
32
That's what
million.
I'm
I
saying.
mean, that's not.
I think that's what he's looking for, to be honest with you. I think that's part of the reason he turned down that Tigers deal. I mean, I think the AJ Hinch thing makes sense, but I think he wants a whole boatload of money, and Scott Boras is going to try to get it for him.
I mean, if any agent can get it from the Yankees, I mean,
He can get it for a guy for a team it's bidding against itself. I mean,
yeah,
but
puts
no,
them
I
in.
want him to get it. I want him to get it because it's going to handcuff the Yankees. They're going to
Oh
be
yeah,
locked down to Carlos Correa for almost a decade and a half. They're going to be
and they'll
paying him a whole bunch
never
of
be able to
money.
trade him.
Nobody's going to take that contract off their hands, and they're
Nope,
just dumb enough to do it.
they are.
Honestly,
Cashman is
like,
dumb enough.
like,
I mean,
because
he's re-signing
the
Aaron Boone.
Mets maybe would do it, and but it wouldn't have as much of an impact on baseball. That I feel like the Yankees would be like, we need to make a splashy deal. This is the one we do. This is the one, and they get it done. And we're just like, that's fine. Like, you can have Correa wreak havoc on the AL East for the next 10 years. I'm fine,
But
but
good luck having him single-handedly wreak havoc on a team that has, on the Boston Red Sox, who have some high-quality talent at multiple positions, or the Blue
you got the
Jays,
Blue
who
Jays
have
who are outstanding. Just need to be
immaculate
consistent.
talent all around.
Yes, exactly. And you've got Aaron Judge, who we talked about. Like they're going to pay him but the guy doesn't stay healthy. I like Aaron Judge a lot, but I just wish for his sake and for Briggs' sake that Aaron Judge would stay healthy. You got Stanton, who doesn't stay healthy, strikes out way too much. Um, you got a lot of question marks on that pitching staff, besides Garrett Cole, obviously. But
Yeah.
no, I don't. I don't think that it would necessarily be a good thing for them, but good for the dude if he gets the bag. I mean, that would be
I
just.
mean, yeah.
I would just blow my mind. It's something I would love to see. It would be fun. Be fun for baseball. That's for sure. It'd make good
I
content.
bet Briggs would love it.
I honestly though, like as a Mariners fan, if he came to the Mariners for that, I'd be fine. Like we've got our shortstop or a third baseman, whoever, but at the same time, like the problem with the Yankees is they have enough money tied up in other guys that it would be a problem for them, is the thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's my against the grain
I
baseball
like it.
Santa wish.
I like it. What are you going with number 4? What's your fourth wish?
You go ahead. Go ahead with your fourth. Go ahead with
I'll
your
go
next one.
for. Okay, so
Yeah.
this one is just kind of a feel good wish that I just kind of want to see happen because I think it makes sense for like the landing spot. I think it makes sense for the player. I think it makes sense for the organization, and I think it makes sense for the pieces they have there. I want the Cardinals to re-sign Albert Pujols to a one-year deal,
Oh,
put
I've
the
been gonna say
band
one
back
day.
together, put the band back together for one more season, give them a run at the playoffs, make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
This is a two-part wish. He re-signs with the Cardinals and they make the playoffs.
There you go.
And they just it's just the silliest feel-good story of all time between Molina, Yachty, and Wainwright getting a chance to all go out together, and after the wild card round, because theirs are not topping the Brewers with that pitching staff.
No.
No one's topping the Brewers with their pitching. It's impossible. Um, they'll win games with pitching alone. But once they make that wild card, I mean, they're there. It's going to be like the biggest game ever. It's going to be
Like a
great.
movie.
Basically, no, it's like going to be a movie. It's like, oh, well, Pujols is back. They got Yachty, Wainwright.
Yeah.
They fought with a new manager and made the playoffs. And I don't know. I think it would. The landing spot makes sense and the feel good, the narrative. I think it all just is there for the Cardinals. You saw the ovation he got when he played for the
Yeah.
Dodgers, and he went
Mm-hmm.
back there for the first time in forever.
Yep, you're right.
He's loved. They love him. They love their
Yeah. I thought you were
40.
gonna say I thought you were gonna say a 1-day contract so he could retire as a Cardinal. I was like, yeah, there you go. That's the spirit. But no, I think a 1-year deal does make sense for him with the Cardinals. Go out at home, because
Yeah,
that's where his legacy is. He's gonna go into the Hall of Fame as a Cardinal
yeah,
for sure, 100%.
yep,
So I think it's a
yep.
great one. All right, go ahead with your final one here, Jewell. You got one more?
My final one. Well, do you have 4 or do you have 5?
I'll go ahead with 4. I'll go ahead with my next one because I'm honestly like a little bit anxious to do this one. So this is kind of a follow up to my third, right?
Okay.
So I talked about how I want Carlos Correa to go to the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things I want him to do as a Yankee is to speak with the media and spill the beans on the entire sign stealing scandal, the whole thing, every last gory detail, and just burn it to the ground.
I think
That's what I want him to do.
if anyone does it, it's gonna be Correa.
Yep, because that dude loves to talk. He
He
loves the
loves
sound
to
of his own
talk and he
voice.
loves the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And he would. I think the Yankees would probably not be opposed to him doing it because
Ex- it
it
vindicates
benefits
them.
them,
Yeah,
vindicates them.
exactly.
It's
It
like,
might be
haha,
part of
Astros,
what
we got your guy and we exposed you.
exactly, and I feel like it would. I mean, he would have immediate cred in the clubhouse. They
Oh
would,
yeah,
for him to be the guy to be like, look, this is what happened. This is how we did it. These are the guys who did it. Yes, there was a buzzer involved, and these 4 guys wore them. Whatever, like, was I involved? Yes. Did I wear a buzzer? Yes. But so did all these other guys, right?
yeah,
And all the Yankees would be like, "Thank you for finally being honest with us. Come
yeah.
play with us. Let's go lose in
I
the
think yeah, and
LDS."
I think that's like the forgiveness and like the streak that he wants to take because he doesn't want to go play with the Tigers. He doesn't want to re-sign with Houston. He wants to be
Mm-hmm.
far, far away. I mean, New York puts him
No
on the
better
other
way to
side
get
of
rid of that
the
stink than
country.
to get rid of it yourself.
Exactly, and no better way to like clear your name and look like the hero
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
put the true asterisk next to a World Series ring that you have one of.
Mm-hmm. And then he can go and he can try to win one valid, right? Win one
Yeah,
clean.
and I think with that roster, he can. win one with that team.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Yankees team wins one with Correa if he signs that Albatross contract.
Yeah, and I think it would probably have to be 2022 if they're going to do it.
Yeah, they'd have to go all in.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's my fourth. That's my fourth baseball Santa wish. What's your last baseball Santa wish? Or I
My
guess your
last
wish for baseball
baseball,
Santa.
my last wish for baseball Santa is for Bryce Harper and Christian Yelich to get some help. These are two top level talents in the outfield. Like, these guys are up there with, they're not quite Mike Trout, but Bryce Harper, top five player, top five, six, seven player of the last decade.
He's a
Easy.
top he's a top 3 or 4 player in the NL every year.
Yeah, he's a top player in the NL. Two-time MVP, several seasons between his two MVPs. Christian Yelich, also an MVP. Also got a big, huge money deal. Um, Uber talented. Both these guys are just, honestly, you take all three of
Christian
them, you
Yelich
could.
doesn't need to get back to helping himself, though. I'll be honest with you.
He does.
That
I agree.
I've been a little disappointed with his play because he has not been the guy we all saw and we all wanted him to be. Because I really like Christian Yelich. I want him to do well. I want him to be successful. But he's got to get back to himself before he can even ask for anybody to get any help for
Yeah,
him, though.
and he just needs to stay healthy. Honestly, his thing is
Yeah,
health.
that's true, and that's probably a big part of it.
He can't stay healthy. I mean, he played 117 games in 2021. Well, he played almost all of 2020, but 130, 147. Like, he's not playing full seasons because he's hurt.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's my last wish is to get Christian Yelich and Bryce Harper some help. Get these guys a legit number two. Mike Trout's probably going to come back and have a great season with
I'm
Ohtani
sure
as
he
his number
will.
two.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, these
That's
guys
actually.
need.
Do you mind if I transition? Because that's a perfect transition
Yeah.
for my fifth one. Okay. So my fifth one, like I said, has to do with the Angels. And something that I want to happen with the Angels this year is I want the Angels to stink, just be so bad like they have been, right? Because pitching is an issue. But anyway, I want them to have a fire sale at the trade deadline because those guys on that team are so good. Trout, Ohtani, Rendon. Now you've got
Walsh.
Noah Syndergaard, like we've talked about. What's that? Walsh.
Jared
Walsh.
Walsh.
Yes.
Walsh is a
Yeah.
stud.
And granted, like Noah Syndergaard has only pitched 2 innings in the last 2 years, right? I'm still a big fan of Noah Syndergaard.
Oh
I
yeah,
would
I think
love
the
to have him in the
reputation and
bullpen in
the
Seattle.
yeah, no, he would be great. And 1-year deals kind of suggest that
Let's prove
A,
it.
we're not sure about you, and B, if you prove it enough and we're not in it, then we can trade you, cut our losses.
Easily, yeah. He is an easy piece to trade. And honestly, if the Angels came out and they said, Mike Trout is available, you've got 29 teams lining up to give 3 of their best players for him. Because what his output is much higher than 99% of the league. So I'd be willing to trade anybody the Angels want for Mike Trout, to be honest with you. Same thing just about with
Yeah,
Ohtani.
Trout has 9 years left on his deal. He's only 30. Dude is only 30,
Yeah.
and to put this in context, at 30 years old, he has 10 years of MLB service. He's a 9 times All-Star and an 8-time Silver Slugger.
And how many MVPs does he have?
3
Like
MVPs.
he's been top 5. He's been top 5 every year, hasn't he? I mean, I'm sure he
He
would have gotten
is
MVP votes last year even without playing.
his rookie year. He was second. His second year, he was second. He was. These are his finishes over his career: 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 5. Then the injury
Yeah.
riddled 2021.
Yeah. Like he's the type of guy who if he's not winning it, he's close to winning it. And I would love to have
Somehow
a guy
he
like that
didn't
on my
win
team.
it in 2017. Somehow he didn't win a Silver Slugger in 2017. Probably because he only had 72 RBIs. But
I think he missed some time that year, didn't he?
He played in 114 games, so
Yeah, he missed. Yeah, I feel like missing 30 games or whatever like that's going to be enough, especially in the outfield right now. Because
yeah,
Mookie Betts was still in the AL at that point, and so you've
it's
got
true.
him and yeah. But anyway, no, I if the Angels have a fire sale, man, the Mariners need to line up. Who you got? Who do you want? Right?
From the Angels,
Yeah.
I want
Like
Otani.
I well, obviously, and I'm telling you, man, if they're willing, if they're like to the point where like, sorry, Mike Trout, it's not working out because we just can't figure out how to put together a winning team. Let's go ahead and let you go to somewhere
and
that's going to win.
that's what they need to do. Um, Honestly, like that's like the right thing to do
It
for a
is.
guy like Mike
Even though,
Trout.
I mean, this is the thing though, is they brought in Joe Madden because they're like, we want to win, right? Like the Angels have had a taste of that World Series. They won it in what was it, 02? They won it.
Hmm.
So it's still pretty fresh. I mean, I get, it's getting to be 20 years, but 20 years here in Phoenix still felt pretty recent based on everything I saw. I mean, when I went to the stadium, they had exhibits and stuff like that from that season. It's like that
Hmm.
stuff that still felt pretty fresh. As far as baseball goes, 20 years is not that big of a deal. So in Anaheim, that's still fresh. Like they still want to win and they still want to
Yeah,
restore that spirit to the Angels. And so they brought in Joe Madden to help with it. The problem is that it feels like they just don't know how to put together a winning pitching staff because that's the problem they've had for so many years. Those guys come up to Seattle and they just rake, but then they lose games because their pitching staff and their bullpen just gives up runs late in the game.
they're and they just paid a bunch of money to Raisel Iglesias,
Yes, they did.
a ton of money, which I mean is well justified. He's really, really, really good,
Yeah, but
and at
one
least you
guy
have
does not
someone
a
to.
pitching staff make.
No,
Right.
and he only pitches in the ninth inning when you have a lead.
Yeah, exactly. And if you
You
have a bullpen
have
that
to
can't hold your
have a
lead,
lead.
he's never going to get out there.
No.
So I don't know. I would like to see the Angels have a fire sale at the trade deadlines, just so that some of those guys can get out there and have a chance to win, and probably come to Seattle and win. Because it feels weird to say that, but all of a sudden I'm
Yeah,
like
no.
really
I
confident in
mean,
this team this year.
their their team ERA, the Angels, was 4.69 with a
Oof.
4.25 FIP. Like you don't win a lot of games when you're averaging 4 runs a game.
Yeah.
You can't win. You can't.
Even with that offense, like they have a pretty good offense. Even with that offense, they're not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, even without Trout, you still have Otani, winning an MVP.
Rendon was hurt last year, but then you got Walsh who stepped up and had a great year. Jared Walsh had an
Yeah,
outstanding year last year.
and now you put
So
Otani, Trout, Walsh, and Rendon healthy on the field together.
get that team pitching staff and they could win the AL West.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it might be smart for the Angels. I'm pretty sure I talked about this last year too on my blog. It's just like I think it's time to move Trout to the corner.
You think so?
I think it's time to move Trout to a corner just to help him stay healthy, give him less ground to cover,
Yeah.
save his legs. Put Joe Adell in center field. You have Joe Adell.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Let
that's true.
those
And
young
he's
22 year
proven
old
to
legs
be
run.
he's proven to be more of the player they thought he was going to be because he had a terrible debut. Like he was
Yeah.
terrible
Oh,
in
it was.
2020, but he was good in 2021. So yeah, I could see him in center field. That's the thing. It's funny though, is like being down in the minor leagues, like the low minor leagues with the Angels. Like we'd see these guys come up, and like some of them were really good. Some of the outfielders, it's like I would hate to be an outfielder or at least a center fielder with the in the Angels farm system right now because you're just trade bait. But at the same time, that's a great point with Trout. If you move him to right field, you save those legs and take advantage of the arm, and then you have a younger guy out there playing center field. It could work. It could work out. Could
Yeah.
be work out really well
I
for
think
him.
it's smart. And even with Trout being hurt last year, this is how bad the Angels were. Trout was hurt last year for majority of the year. It still was the Angels' seventh best player in terms of WAR.
He only played like 30 something games, right?
Yep, a 1.8 WAR, and that's how big of an impact Mike Trout has on this team.
I'm telling you, man.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
It is insane. But anyway, baseball family, if you want to share with us your baseball Santa wishes, drop in the mailbag. There's a link down in the description. or there's also a link on baseballtogether.com up in the navigation. Just click the link and then fill out the form. It'll send us an email, and we'll share some of your baseball Santa wishes on the podcast as well if you would like. Or let us know what you think about our wishes. Am I too far against the grain here, wanting the Yankees to give all the money to Carlos Correa? Or is that reasonable? I don't know. Let us know.